I think there's a weird trend that's been spreading through the gaming community. With the rise of video game companies throughout the years and video games going from being seen as something weird neckbeards do in their mom's basement to something widespread and mainstream, I feel like we lost something along the way. Some of the charm of being a gamer is slowly fading away as the years go on, but I think I know one of the ways to fix that. So get comfortable while we ask the question, should we still play old games? I don't think the gaming industry is in a bad place. There are incredible games still being made. I just think the biggest releases don't always represent the best gaming has to offer. That isn't to say AAA games can't still be great. Baldur's Gate 3 proved that. There are still amazing experiences coming from big studios. But over the last few years, I've noticed myself spending more time with indie games. Lethal Company is a perfect example. We joke about Friend Slot, but I genuinely had more fun playing that game than almost anything that came out in 2023. Of course, this is all my opinion and an observation from just playing games, but modern games are lacking. I can't say they aren't objectively better on the technical side. The graphics of video games have gotten way better since even the 2010s. Music production and lighting have also gotten a significant boost in what developers can accomplish. But this may be part of the problem. Some big developers now seem to be more focused on appearing better than their competition and not what would actually be fun to play. They wave around excellent graphics, music, game mechanics, and IPs like that's all people are looking for in a game. Some people might. If that's your thing, that's completely fine. However, I don't think that speaks to gamers as a whole. We want fun. Whatever bells and whistles the game has with it don't matter if it feels like a slog to play. And that's exactly why I think older games still matter. If modern games are so focused on graphics and endless content, then maybe looking backwards isn't just nostalgia. Maybe it's a reminder of what developers prioritized before all of that. I think the same for remakes. Whether you like them or not, remakes are exactly what I was talking about. Taking an older game, putting it in a shiny new box, and selling it as something brand new. What I want to ask is, why not just play the original? That might be a controversial take, especially with the remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag coming out, a fan favorite game in one of the biggest franchises, and yes, they are making some changes graphically and adding some new mechanics, but what was wrong with the old one? Isn't it a fan favorite game for a reason? You could argue nostalgia, but how would that explain why it was so big at the time? The game, even with all its graphical glitches and jank, had something people loved. And still loved to this day. It was one of the first Assassin's Creed games that didn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, it had an amazing story, but the main draw of the game wasn't the story. It was the fact you got to be a badass pirate who carried around 4 guns and 2 swords. Alongside the actual sailing mechanics of the game, it was just fun to play. Even despite its graphical glitches and sometimes glitchy gameplay, people enjoyed it even though it wasn't the most polished thing in the world, and it didn't have to be. I think this train of thought can be followed all the way back to even older games. If Assassin's Creed Black Flag was so great and still to this day has a fan base of people willing to dig through their moth-infested wallets to grab the remake, why not play something even older? Something more nostalgic. And Black Flag isn't the only example. People replay games like Halo 3, Portal 2, Left 4 Dead 2, Super Mario Galaxy, Fallout New Vegas, and even the original Doom. None of those games are so popular because they have cutting-edge graphics. They're popular because they're designed around mechanics that are satisfying from the first minute to the last. Good gameplay ages a lot better than good graphics. If a game's biggest selling point is, look how realistic this puddle is, that's probably not something people are going to remember in 10 years. But they'll remember the first time they landed the warthog jump in Halo. They'll remember laughing because their friend accidentally shot the gas can instead of the zombie in Left 4 Dead. And those moments stick with people. This also affects the younger generation of gamers. All the 10-year-old Fortnite kids who scream at their mom if they don't buy them the new skibbity toilet back bling. They don't know the struggle of having to actively fight Miss Ruby in Sly Cooper while playing her stupid rhythm game to survive. They also don't get to feel the absolute triumph when you finally figured out her mechanics and were able to beat her. Now, I don't remember what resolution Sly Cooper ran at. I don't remember the frame rate. I couldn't tell you how many polygons were in Bentley's wheelchair, but I remember exactly how it felt beating Clockwork for the first time. Now, to be fair, not every old game is secretly a masterpiece. Some of them absolutely deserve to stay buried. There are plenty of PS1 and PS2 games that are controlled like a shopping cart with 3 wheels. Age doesn't automatically make something good, but that's kind of the point. The classics become classics because they survive. People are still talking about them 20 years later because they earned that reputation. If thousands of people are still remembering a game decades after release, maybe there's something worth experiencing there. These old games have a level of challenge that rarely ever took away from the amount of fun you were having while playing them. And even if it did, that just meant you got to spend another few days playing it to get over the hurdle. It was fun and exciting. They also don't know what it feels like to genuinely play together. I mean, sitting on the couch with your siblings playing Mario Kart while you argue about who threw the red shell and knocked you out of first place, even though I saw you throw it, baby Mario, you little shit, I know it was you. It's not just the games themselves that we lost. It's the way we used to play them. Couch co-op has died off, and it's one of the saddest things to see. Playing 4-player split-screen Borderlands with my family was one of the best times I ever had as a kid, and I think it made the idea of gaming and playing games even stronger in me because of the group dynamic. Gaming wasn't something I had to do in my room alone. It was something I could do to connect my friends and family in the same room and not just through a screen. I think that's another thing we've slowly lost. Online multiplayer is convenient, but convenience isn't always better. When someone beats you online, they disconnect and disappear into the internet. When your brother beats you sitting 3 feet away on the couch, you have to look him in the eye while he celebrates. Those moments just hit differently. Some of my favorite gaming moments weren't even from beating bosses. They were laughing so hard someone had to pause the game because nobody could see through the tears. That's something Discord can't really replace. So, should you still play old games? I think the answer is yes. Not because modern games are terrible, not because nostalgia makes everything better, but because great games don't stop being great just because another decade passed. If all you ever play are the newest releases, you're skipping over decades of incredible experiences that still hold up to this day. Some of the best games ever made aren't coming out next month. Gaming doesn't have to be an endless cycle of chasing the newest thing. Sometimes the best way to remember why you fell in love with games in the first place is to go back and play something that never stopped being fun. So the next time you're about to queue another ranked league match that leaves everyone tilted for the night, maybe dust off an old console. Invite a couple of friends over, load up Mario Kart, Halo, Borderlands, whatever game made you smile growing up. Because sometimes moving gaming forward means remembering what made it special in the first place. And that's all for this video. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to hear more discussions like this, I'll catch you in the next one.